Indigenous what now? Oh yeah, you know, for the last few years now, Indigenous communities I've worked with is the people in charge, the people that hire, or the people that have jobs that decide on the volunteers or who will be able to interact there and for how long. Because sometimes they don't like that. You might have skill sets that benefit their people more than they do. Is one thing that I discovered that is pretty consistent is that they don't get a very important part about the trauma healing of their culture, which has to include a couple of things. Like I mentioned already, that you know that you're very advanced in your trauma healing when you're at the stage of doing protests for cultures who are not just going through the same thing, but going through much worse things in a much shorter period of time in front of the whole world in current affairs. Like, so for example, there's only one tribe in the United States that I've seen news about on Democracy Now, I think, that shows them playing part in petitions about what's happening with the elites of Israel and Palestinians. So you know that they're either more advanced in their trauma healing, or they will really accelerate it by doing something like this. And the other thing is just to interact and make friends with people, of European descent in ethnicity, right? Caucasians. Uh, and it's not hard with somebody like me when I'm in their community and I can show, hey, I'll nod at a stranger and give them a hello, and I'm open to conversation, and I'm open to playing a cribbage game, and all these things I've already demonstrated. You know what I noticed? Like, not just this Salvation Army, but other Salvation Armies, for example, in other places where there's a strong culture of Indigenous people, is I think there's a little bit of the garlic peel that went in. Is I find I see more progress with the people they serve, like people that are homeless, that really sleep in the dirt, in the rain at night, and that haven't yet made progress with their addictions or haven't received the right kind of counseling because, like the health authorities don't have the skill sets and they're already a mess with their own addictions and mental illness, the workers for there. I find that they tell me in our conversations that it's amazing for them that they made that progress from the past, that they're talking to me and how they appreciate talking to me and they look forward to talking to me again, and how much progress they're making. And they're, who other people from their culture who have the jobs, who judge them negatively behind closed doors often, and who just serve them food without really making an effort with food safe to keep their own people healthy, or even the quality of the food sometimes, or the efforts of how to spend their budgets for the sake of more nutritious foods as compared to other things, is like there's a young man here who's mid-30s, and then there's an older man who actually reminds me of my grandpa in certain ways with his personality, which made it even more pleasant for me to hear his stories and make connections with him. Man, I think he beat me at cribbage 4 times in a row. and it wasn't because of a great skill difference. It just turned out that way. We were both skilled in the same way, although a few times he missed a couple of his points and I gave him a chance to notice them, but it wouldn't have made a difference with who won or lost. It was more the cards, but he was very good at talking at the same time as playing and still being pretty good at maximizing his cards at cribbage. So that's strange because they both told me this. They both told me that in the past they never would have talked to like a white person. They would have been angry and things like that, and they would have just said, F off or something like that, right? And And yet they're making more progress as they're going through the hardships that their own people with the jobs who work there, or who, are, let's say, doing better financially speaking or housing speaking. They can't do that. They can't interact with me without hypocrisy, without the fake kindness long enough to take advantage of this, while the others who go through much more hardships but have a better attitude are making this progress. It's an important progress for trauma healing, and there's plenty of people like me that many of them can make friends with. But when the people in charge or in leadership roles, or that role model to a large number of people, don't make these efforts, they might not be the best role models for their own people if they think that trauma healing is something worth doing.